my friends. It's your old pal Jordan the Lion. How are you all doing today? Excellent. Well, we're driving through Ohio today and we're headed to Columbus, and we are going to see a $100,000 cheeseburger. Daze with Jordan the Lion begins now. Look at all those American flags up there. Yep, he's with me too. Came along for the ride. So where we're starting the vlog today is on East Broad Street in Columbus, downtown Columbus. So here we are, right here on the corner of Broad Street and 5th Street. You can see that this says this was the site of the first Wendy's restaurant. Dave Thomas realized his boyhood dream when he opened his first hamburger restaurant on this site, November 15th, 1969. Thomas changed the image of fast food by serving fresh, not frozen hamburgers, hot off the grill with a choice of toppings in a clean, comfortable setting. From this location, Wendy's became one of the largest restaurant chains in the world. It all began with Thomas's guiding principle, quality is our recipe, and his dream of serving a hot and juicy hamburger. And what's here now is a statue to learning in the former location. The restaurant would have actually literally been right here. And he got his start actually with the help of Colonel Sanders. You see, early on, Dave was married at the age of 22 and had kids and was not making any money in the restaurant business, and that's what he always loved to do. And Colonel Sanders started franchising KFC restaurants, and Dave was able to end up franchising a couple of those restaurants, and through seeing how the Colonel did things and changing things a little bit in his restaurant, he made it extremely successful. Those 4 restaurants ended up making him a millionaire just within 5 years. And then he ended up selling those restaurants back to KFC and eventually starting his own restaurant, which was Wendy's, using the principles that he learned from the Colonel, both good and bad. So now we're gonna head off to the Wendy's in Dublin, Ohio, because they have a museum inside of there with a statue of Dave Thomas. Who can forget Dave from all those great Wendy's commercials? And Dave actually said he never ever wanted to be in those commercials. Originally, he never saw himself as that kind of guy, and his dry sense of humor ended up making him a hit on the commercials. So it's about a 22-minute drive from the first location to the museum. Here we go, here's our sign for Dublin. That's what we're looking for. And here it is. So I'm pretty excited to see this. I do like Wendy's, and I want to see this because I loved all those Dave Thomas commercials. And he was apparently one of the forefathers of the drive-through window. As you can see people lining up, he had that window out there. He was one of the first people to do that. Made a huge success of never selling frozen hamburgers. And I guess when they closed down the first location that we were just at, all the memorabilia went into storage for better part of a decade, and they decided to put it in a room in here. Dave had a pretty simple philosophy. Give people good food, be nice to them, and make it cheap. They'll come back. Welcome to Dublin, Ohio. So it's a real restaurant, but then if you look over here, there's the little museum inside. Let's wander in. Dave Thomas Boulevard. So first off, it says that this seating area is taken from the first Wendy's in downtown Columbus where we were at. It's a replica of what the dining room looked like throughout the 1970s. The newsprint tables, bentwood chairs, and Tiffany-style lamps created an old-fashioned atmosphere that Dave Thomas wanted in his restaurants, a place where customers would feel comfortable and families could enjoy a meal together. And then here you have the original drawings of the logo. Wendy was his daughter, and they did kind of originally think of maybe using her for real as the mascot, but then thought, no, she'll be tied to that forever. We better do a drawing of someone. And so you can see the different hairstyles they tried, but they went with the pigtails they called the Raggedy Ann. And this says Tiffany lamps helped complete the old-fashioned decor of the early Wendy's restaurants. Artisans with Franklin Art Glass Studios of Columbus handcrafted each lamp. Much of the glass used came from the same factory where Louis Tiffany bought glass for his famed creations decades ago. Each Wendy's Tiffany contained over 160 pieces of glass, and you can see there's just a section of it right there, and there they're showing what those lamps used to look like. Those are before my time. I never got to see those in a Wendy's. But I remember he was very popular for bringing out the salad bar in 1979. Now you can see the history of Wendy's from 1969. The different logos. That's the very first location right there. That's the one that is no longer there. Sorry about all the reflection off the glass, but there's one of the original ads. And there's Dave, and it says here that this began as a boyhood dream for Dave. He always wanted to have his own restaurant, and he was Wendy's dad. Dave wanted to own a restaurant that served the best tasting hamburgers. He opened the first Wendy's in November of 1969 in Columbus. He named the restaurant after one of his daughters, 8-year-old Wendy. Had a passion for quality ingredients and served only 100% pure beef. Fresh hamburgers, never frozen. Custom made with the customer's choice of toppings. There's that drive-through window. And there are your options when you used to go through the drive-through and order. Relish, huh? You could make your burger in the early days 256 different ways. And that's the groundbreaking for the Wendy's headquarters here. There's a little Wendy. There's Wendy again in the lower right with that big giant cheeseburger. Actually, that looks like a big giant chicken sandwich, doesn't it? Then you can see Dave over there with the fogged out glasses next to Wendy to the left. Then here they have the groundbreaking shovel. And then this is celebrating when he opened his 4,000th restaurant. He ended up, actually, at the time of his death in, I think 2002, he had 6,000 restaurants by then. Then right there's the original Wendy's restaurant uniform, one of them, with the hat and everything. And of course, home of the Frosty. Advertising their chicken sandwich, which he learned from the Colonel. And like I said, popular for not only the hamburgers, but for his chili, and of course the Frosty, and the triple burger. And then these are all showing different restaurants all over the globe. Dave was proud to make Wendy's an international success. And I actually think this is one of the coolest things that they have here. This is his original Wendy's griddle. It says, Wendy's needed a sturdy spatula to turn their quarter-pound square hamburgers. The original hamburger spatula was made from a masonry troll. The Wasserstrom Company, Wendy's equipment supplier, cut the end off of the troll to make it square. And why did he want to flatten the burgers out to be square? Because he thought it made the burgers look bigger. If you saw a little bit of the burger hanging out off the bun, as opposed to McDonald's, you thought you were getting more. That's the original griddle. And it says, Wendy's original meat supplier, Village Meats, was a small meat packing plant located in the German Village section of Columbus. Years later, Wendy's received the original test griddle that Village Meats used to cook the signature quarter-pound square hamburger made from the fresh ground beef. Billions of pounds of meat later, Village Meat now has major facilities in Columbus and Atlanta, Georgia. And there you can see little salt and pepper shakers of Frosties. And then that little sliver says that was cut from the original grill from the original Wendy's that we were at over there on Broad Street. There you can see all these different lapel pins or hat pins that you would have got if you were an employee at Wendy's. Now, one of the other things that Wendy's was known for, and how could you forget, where's the beef? The where's the beef lady? That was an amazing commercial series. That's from 1984, that plate. And she was also in Moving Violations. Look at the sun visor, you've got the glass, the old-fashioned glass. And the old Wendy's cushion. There's Jonathan Winters having a burger. There's Dave up there filming a commercial. And another commercial. There you can see one of the early locations and the early sign. There's Dave and Wendy. And this is celebrating 50-year anniversary. And here's Dave meeting different celebrities, including presidents. And he actually met his wife while he was working in a restaurant. Married her. Here's with Muhammad Ali, Bill Clinton, Ronald Reagan, and then of course Dave the author. Then here they're showing all of his charitable contribution. Where's the beef? And there he is on the hat. Now that is the Olympic torch that he actually carried himself. And I started this out by telling you that they had a $100,000 cheeseburger here. Here it is. Waterford Crystal classic single burger made to order with pickles, onions, tomato, and lettuce was purchased at a Wendy's auction for $105,000. Wow. Look at that thing. And it's got that square burger. It's definitely theirs. Nice. $105,000 burger. Look at that. Holy cow. There he is running with that torch. Right there in the picture. Pretty cool little museum here. And over here on this wall tells about his dream of having his own restaurant. He devoted his entire career to making and serving a better hamburger. Good for him. Yeah, he had a kind of a strange life when he was a kid. His birth mother died, he was adopted, then his adoptive mother died, and his father had a couple of wives after that, and he ended up quitting school at the age of 15 and working in restaurants, and had to eventually go back for his GED, and just always wanted to make something of himself. And he even said when he sold his KFC restaurants and made $1 million, he never thought he would do better than that. He said, boy, was I wrong. That he would shortly thereafter found Wendy's. Well, since we're here, let's get something. All of Wendy's spins off of one word: fresh. Let's just go with a single today. I often wonder how people like Dave Thomas, what they would think of how things are run now, if they would still like it or if they would change it. This is definitely one of the nicer Wendy's I've ever been to, that's for sure. The old classic, in memory of Dave. And, of course, a Frosty. Still a pretty dang good burger. And you can never go wrong with the Frosty. Never. Alright, totally worth a stop. Now that we've eaten, when you come out to the other side, there's an outdoor patio dining area. But there's also, look, a statue of Dave. Lovable Dave Thomas. Let's take a look. Can't come and not see that. He's ready to deliver too. Got a Frosty in his hand and a bag of delicious fresh burgers. Nice watch. That is pretty cool. Another true American success story. Should have ate my burger right here at this table. What was I thinking? All right, Dave, this was a fun trip, but I gotta get going. Yeah, one of my best friends from high school, Adam, lives out this way, and I knew I was gonna visit him, and he loves Donovan and he loves Steve Keen's painting, so I've been promising him this painting for a while, and I brought it this time to drop off to him. All right, now we got to go visit Adam, Ja. We're in Adam's neighborhood. All right, we just had a good visit with Adam and his family. Decided to keep them off camera just cause. Now we're gonna go see the final resting place of Dave Thomas. Here we are, Union Cemetery. I think it's pretty close to the back. So it says online that it's here in Chapel B. So to find it, you just go in here and make a left right there. As soon as you walk in and make a left, you see here is Dave and his wife Lorraine. They were married for, I believe, 47 years. Like I said, she was a server in one of the little short order cook places he was working at, and after a year of them working together, he asked her out, and they were together ever since. And she was the one that would have had Wendy, and this was his son, Kenneth. Apparently, Dave passed away from a tumor. He had a tumor that he knew about for like 10 years, and he ended up passing away from that at his home in Fort Lauderdale. But his Wendy's hamburgers live on, and apparently most of the time that he was alive, he was in almost all of the Wendy's commercials up until his death. The tumor eventually affected his liver, and it killed him on January 8th of 2002, which would have been Elvis's birthday. All right, my friends, we're gonna call it a day. Thank you all for watching. I hope this took you down memory lane. Hope you enjoyed it. I wanna thank True Patriot 740 for becoming my newest Patreon. Thank you all for watching, and have a great night. Go get yourself a Frosty. Goodbye.